I'm going to ask the Acting Comptroller General to speak now. Then we'll hear from the Chair and Ranking Member of the House Committee, and then our two colleagues from the Senate to oversee the relevant subcommittee. Gene, thanks very much for your work.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Senator Lieberman, Senator Collins. I appreciate all the involvement of members here. The Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs and the House Oversight Government Reform Committee on a bipartisan basis have been very supportive of the high-risk list since its creation, and their efforts to help oversee these areas in the past and I'm sure in the future will lead to continued progress. The update that we're providing this year, and the board to my left here lists all the areas that are on GAO's high-risk list, which include 30 right now. The report details progress that's been made in each of these areas, and importantly, points out what remains to be done in order to sustain that progress and move it to a point where GAO feels comfortable that the plan has been implemented, the problem has been resolved, and we can take that item off the list. We're particularly pleased in the past few years that agencies with OMB's support and encouragement have now developed better plans for addressing some of these areas, and we're hoping that that will lay the foundation for further progress in the future. Now, focusing in on some of the main changes this year, enough progress has been made for us to remove the FAA Air Traffic Modernization Program from the high-risk list. Initially put on in 1995, we were concerned about significant overruns in this $36 billion effort and the fact that FAA did not have the software development capability, enterprise architecture, and other investment processes in place that we've liked to have seen. They've committed and have focused on these years and really attacked and fixed some of the root causes of the problem. They brought some systems online. Cost overruns are down. While we remain watchful, because they're about ready to also launch into the next generation air traffic control system, where they'll be moving to a satellite-based system from the radar-based ground system right now. We believe they've made sufficient progress to remove the high-risk designation. We'll also be watching for any particular safety-related issues as well. So just because they're off the list doesn't mean they're out of GAO's oversight. But we're pleased to be able to do that. The new areas, Senator Lieberman and Senator Collins mentioned, they need to modernize the financial regulatory system. The system is outdated, it's fragmented, and it's ill-suited to meet our needs in the 21st century. The report that they mentioned that GAO has just released earlier this month outlines the evolution of this system over 150 years. It focuses on some of the developments that have occurred in the past 2 decades in particular that have outpaced the ability of the regulatory system to deal with it, and importantly provides a framework for helping craft and evaluate legislative proposals to deal with these problems. So we try to provide a guide here to help the Congress go forward. And we're very pleased to participate in yesterday's hearing and look forward to working with the Congress in this regard. Next are 2 other areas that we're adding this year that are very important from a public safety standpoint. The first deals with the oversight of medical products. The work that's been done by GAO, FDA's own oversight board, and the National Academy of Sciences all point to significant challenges that have compromised the ability of FDA to ensure the fact that they do not have protect Americans from unsafe products going forward or unsuitable products. The need to focus on developing better data to oversee the foreign prescription drug program, the need to provide more inspections on foreign establishments, to deal with improvements that are needed in post-market surveys as well as clinical trials are all areas GAO is making recommendations in those areas. Of particular concern is the inspection of foreign establishments producing drugs and medical devices. In this area, we're estimating that under the current situation, it would be almost every 13 years where FDA would be able to examine the prescription drug companies in foreign countries, and for medical products, depending on the risk, it could be anywhere from 6 to 27 years. So this clearly needs to change because more of our drugs and devices are coming from foreign sources. Lastly, we're adding the need to transform the program over at EPA for protecting the public from toxic chemicals. It's very important that EPA have up-to-date scientific information. The information system that we looked at that contains 540 toxic chemicals is in danger of being obsolete. In the last 3 years, only 9 of those chemicals have been updated. Many of the processes are taking longer than 5 years to provide the updated scientific information to enable EPA to decide how best to protect the public from these devices. The process that's in place now is cumbersome, needs to be streamlined, needs to be updated and made more timely to put EPA in a much better position to ensure that the public's protected in this particular area. We look forward to continuing to work with the Congress and with the agencies to tackle these very difficult issues. One final note, as you'll note from the list, the high-risk list initially started out as fraud, waste, abuse, and mismanagement, and many of the programs on there are for that reason, but it's also evolved over the years to include broad-based transformations that are needed in order to reform basic systems to posture the government to meet 21st century challenges. So we look forward to working to try to help modernize government through this process and others at GAO.
Thanks very much, Gene.